Hello everybody, it's Maikito. Going over yesterday's picks. You can skip this part if you want to. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant just because I have to let some of my frustration out. The ones that hit first of all, Spain -1.5 against Georgia. That one hit for us. They were tied 1-1 at halftime. They still came through for us either way. I did a halftime bet on the YouTube description that the Jamaica Venezuela game, it was 0-0, that there would be at least one goal scored. That one hit. Pino to go higher on passes hit. Lamine Yamal higher than 2.5 shots hit. And then Mino higher than 0.5 shots hit. He had 2. But now going on to the ones that missed. First of all, I do not know why I decided to trust England again. They won 2-1. They only took 2 shots on target. They scored both of the goals. They added 6 minutes of extra time for them. We all kind of knew why they added 6 minutes in the first place, so that they could try to tie. So I don't know why I decided to trust England first of all. Then I added Rodri lower than 2.5. He had played Georgia twice last year, went under in both games. Played 2 games in the tournament, went under in both of those games. And then the one time I take it, he decides to barely go over and get 3. And then Mexico is pretty much this Mexico game that I really want to rant just real quick. First of all, Santi to go higher than 0.5 shots on target. 1, he hit the post, which doesn't count, which was frustrating. 2, towards the end of the game, last 5 minutes or so, he had a chance where he received the ball and his back was towards the goal. He headed it back, and it was a slow shot, but it was still a shot. And most people that saw it knew it was a shot, and it was on target. The keeper saved it. And if you look, the people that took his prop on chalkboard, it counted for them, but for everybody else, it didn't. So it should have counted, in my opinion. I don't know why they didn't count it. And then I took, obviously, Mexico to get 4 more shots on target. And I had Mexico a halftime one for them to score in the second half. And that was just, Mexico had 2 penalties that should have been given, in my opinion. One of them was debatable, but one of them was clear. Mexico should have scored. Either way, they had plenty of opportunities. And again, if Santi could have got that 1 shot on target, that would have also cashed our 4 shots on target. And it was just very, very frustrating because there were the Santi shot on target that should have counted. The penalties that Mexico should have got that would have counted, which would have cashed pretty much all 3 of our Mexico slips. So it was just overall a very frustrating day. Like, could have easily been a sweep day. Easily should have been at least like a 7, like an 8-2 day or something like that. Should have easily been a really good day. But we were getting hooked every single play. It was just frustrating. Just wanted to get that out the way. Just wanted to go on a small rant. But other than that, there are some games for tomorrow. 2 Euro, 2 Copa America. Originally, I just thought about just skipping the day just because of everything that happened today. But I still want to get some plays out for you guys regardless, whether it's a couple of them that I did like. So I'll get straight into those. My first play is Kylian Mbappe to go higher than 1.5 shots on target, playing for France, going up against Belgium. You can also take this on a sportsbook. You can get good value there as well. He's played 2 games this tournament. He was unlucky in game 1 where he had that through chance and he just barely went off target. And then in the last game versus Poland, he had 5, went way over. And for France this tournament, he's been playing as a striker, so they've been prioritizing him, sending him through balls, trying to get him some good service, which is what they should be doing. And then Belgium's defense has been pretty leaky when you compare to the opponents that they've been playing. They allowed 10 shots against Slovakia, 14 against Romania, and 13 against Ukraine. And against France, I expect them to take even more shots than that, at least around 18 and stuff like that. And when I took him in the Poland game, I did mention that he's a big game player for France. He will find those opportunities, whether he scores them or not. He's going to have a good game, and I expect the same thing against Belgium. I expect full minutes out of him. He takes runs in behind. He's very quick. He's a skiller, and he's also their penalty taker. So we just need him to take 2 shots on target. So like Mbappe to go higher than 1.5 shots on target. My next play is his teammate, Theo Hernandez, to go higher than 1.5 tackles. He's gone over this in 1 out of the 3 games where he had 2, 1 and 1. And the reason why I like this prop is because from all the sources that I've seen, Carrasco, who plays for Belgium on the opposite side, is projected to start, which means he'll play on the left, which means Doku is going to play on the right, which is Teo Hernandez's side. So he's going to have to be guarding Doku. And when you look at the last 3 games where Doku has played, the opposition defenders that have had to guard him have gone over this 1.5 tackles mark. And all 3 out of 3 games, they had 2, 3, and 6. So Doku will go at him. He's one of the only players in the world that still dribble the way that a lot of people's opinion belief should be, which is attacking opposition defenders and stuff like that. So he's gonna have a lot of opportunities to try to take the ball away from Doku. He's gonna be pressing him. Dale can be sometimes leaky when it comes to defending, but one thing is that he will be aggressive when he has to be, and he definitely gets one for sure, is whether he gets that second. And I like the odds of that happening with him having to guard against Doku, a really fast, a really skillful defender. So I like Teo Hernandez to go higher than 1.5 tackles. My next play is honestly probably out of my player props, my favorite one is Bernardo Silva to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted, playing for Portugal, going up against Slovenia. He went over in both of the games that he's played with 2 and 4, and Slovenia definitely allowed plenty of shots. They allowed 16 against Denmark, 15 against Serbia, and 12 against England. And again, I expect Portugal to take more, close to 18 to 20 shots. And Slovenia give up a lot of the possession. They allowed Denmark to get 68% of the ball. They allowed Serbia to get 61% of the ball. And they allowed England to get 73% of the ball, which if you've been following the last couple of videos, you know that if a team has more possession, that obviously means that they're going to have more opportunities, more shots to be taken, which is just what Bernardo Silva needs. He needs to just pass to a teammate and his teammate shoot from that, and I can easily see that happening this next game. He's a versatile midfielder / winger. He's going to be playing on that right side, on that right wing. So he's going to be having plenty of opportunities to find his teammates on that. And in the Premier League, which is he's playing much tougher opposition, he still averaged higher than this mark, averaging 2.23 per 90. We just need him to get 2. And his last 5 games that he's played for Portugal, he's gone over in all 5 games. He's a very creative player, and I like this mark against the Slovenia side that, like I said, they're going to get plenty of shots against them. I like Bernardo Silva to go higher than 1.5 shots assisted. My next play is one that I'm sure not many people are going to be taking, and that's Ismael Diaz higher than 2.5 shots, playing for Panama, going against Bolivia. The reason why I say not many people are going to be taking him is because not a lot of people know who he is, so they don't have any background on him and stuff like that. But I've seen him play, and I like the way he plays, honestly, for a team like Panama. He hasn't played this tournament because Panama has been a little more reserved because they've played 2 tough opponents in USA and Uruguay. So they've played more conservative the last 2 games, trying to get a point and stuff like that. And they managed to win against the US. And so if they win or draw this game, they are very likely to get second place, which would put them in the next round. All that needs to happen is pretty much that the US, if the US tie, Bolivia needs to win. If the US loses, Panama has to draw. So in his last 5 games for Panama, he's gone over in 3 out of the 5 games. He went over against Mexico, and he went over against the U.S., and now he's playing against a much weaker opposition in Bolivia. The 2 games that he went under were both against Costa Rica, and the reason why he went under, in my opinion, is because they were already up by a lot of goals, so they weren't really relying on him to attack anymore. So he plays as a striker / left winger for his club and country. So he's a very, very attacking player, and he's very underrated in my opinion when it comes to him. If you watch him play, you see that he's a very quick player, and he's a very agile player. So he's going to be making those runs in behind. He's pretty good when it comes to taking on his opponents and stuff like that. And it's a must-win game for them. If the USA somehow beat Uruguay, then they're out. But I'm very, 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 very unlikely that happens. If USA tie, Panama needs to win. If USA lose, Panama needs to draw. And Bolivia, while their defense is weak, they are a very physical team. So it's going to take a while, in my opinion, for Panama to find a way to break that Bolivia defense. And he's going to be a very key part in that. So I like this mark. I like Ismael Diaz to go higher than 2.5 shots. And in my last play, honestly, I should have taken it last game. But I'm going to take it this game. Knock on wood that this play hits again. And that's Ronald Araujo to go lower than 1.5 fouls. Playing for Uruguay, playing against the U.S. He's gone under in both games this tournament so far, and he's yet to even get one foul in either of the games. And if you look at how he plays in the league, not in Uruguay, he had 25 fouls and 25 in the league, so he averaged 1. He had 5 in 8 games in the Champions League, so he averaged less than 1. And then he had 2 and 2 in the Copa del Rey, and then he had 5 fouls in 4 games, so barely over 1 in the World Cup qualification. So it doesn't even average 2. He could get 1. I do not think he gets 2, and there's no reason for him to even be aggressive in the first place. They're guaranteed first place. If they lose, then they still get first place no matter what. There's no reason for him to be aggressive. All the U.S. really need, they can still qualify with a draw if Panama don't win. So, like, while Uruguay, yes, they'll want to win or not lose because it's just for pride reasons, I guess you could say. They're going to get first place no matter what. And there's no reason for him to take any chances and be aggressive and potentially get like a red card or something like that, which is obviously he would have to foul him because they're, like I said, they're going to get first place in the table and they're going to play either Brazil or Colombia. And either team that they play is going to be a very tough game for them. So they're going to need him to be there. So again, there's no reason for him to be aggressive. He averages around 1 foul in the normal season, and he hasn't even committed a single foul in both of the games this tournament. So like Ronald Araujo to go lower than 1.5 fouls. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito linked in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And then I also have the membership available for those that want to get that. It's just for those that want to get the content out early before it goes public, because the lines tend to move and push and stuff like that. Whenever I post these videos. And even if you don't want to get the early content, or you do want to get the early content, it's also a good way to support the channel if you guys are ever interested in doing that. And then I also have my Fliff and my Cashapp linked if you want to use those, and I appreciate anybody who uses those and supports me in any way. When it comes to money lines and just plays in general, player props, I'll likely add more tomorrow. But when it comes to money lines, I just wanted to find at least one. Because most of the games are either heavily juiced or could go either way. But I will likely add more tomorrow. But there was one. It's actually a FanDuel only prop. So if you don't have FanDuel, then you can't take this one. But I was looking around and I actually found this one that you can take. I think it's like a plus 230 or something like that, which I think is pretty good value for what you're getting. And it's one of the special ones you can take. 3 things needs to happen. It needs to be Portugal to win. They need to have the most corners and the most shots on target in both halves. So obviously I do think they will win. They lost their last game because they weren't playing their full players. I didn't take that into consideration. And Georgia just played a really good game. Madarashvili had a really great game, their keeper and stuff. And Slovenia, the team they're playing, are yet to win a game. They've drawn all 3 games, 1-1, 1-1, and 0-0. And they have allowed more corners to their opposition in all 3 games, allowing they had 9-5, 9-4, and 6-0. So their opponents took more corners than them in all 3 games. And Portugal have taken more corners than their opponents in 2 out of the 3 games this tournament. 13-0, 1-9, which was against Turkey, and they were already winning, and then 11-1. So you can see there's a big discrepancy. The only one where they lost in corner wise was against Turkey, and Slovenia is nowhere near Turkey's level in my opinion. And Slovenia, in my opinion, is just lucky to. They'll be very lucky if they even manage to get 1 shot on target in each of the halves. And Portugal on the other side, I can easily see them getting 3 shots on target a half in each one, and I do not think that Slovenia gets that at all. And I think it's a good combination that you can take. They all correlate really well. If Portugal win, they're very likely going to have more corners, and they're already, in my opinion, going to have more shots on target in each half, whether they win or lose or draw or anything like that. So I think it's a good combination you could take on FanDuel. You get this at like plus 230, plus 260, whatever it's at. It's Portugal to win, and for them to have more corners and more shots on target in each half. Thank you everybody for watching. If you could like the video, and if you have more time, could you comment anything that you want to say, whether it's an opinion of what you felt on today's games. You can be completely honest, or whether it's just you want to say anything in general or have any questions, stuff like that. Please feel free to comment. Anything helps. It helps boost the video out to more people, and I can just reply to your guys' comments and stuff like that. I read all of them. And if you could, would you subscribe and turn on notifications so you get updated on exactly when I post every single one of my videos. But other than that, I hope everybody has a good day and we can recover from a very frustrating day, which could have been much better. I hope everybody has a good night and we can cash out tomorrow.